Since the health system is the critical point and the inevitable point of contact for women facing violence, Sehat has been involved in establishing a health sector response against violence for more than a decade, and it has set up intervention models for domestic violence as well as sexual violence. And in year 2013, we were able to contribute to the WHO's clinical and policy guidelines on responding to violence against women, and we collaborated with WHO to roll out these guidelines in India. This project is being implemented in 2 tertiary level hospitals of Maharashtra. We selected 3 departments, which are Obs-Gynae, General Medicine and Casualty, considering the fact that the women are more likely to seek the medical care from these 3 departments.
We had a training about violence against women, and we were happy to associate it with an NGO, Sehat, for this. And the challenges that would have happened is basically if there would have been a stick in the mud attitude from our staff. But surprisingly, that was not at all there. What they needed was to feel that what they were doing was going to make a difference.
We created a pool of trainers from Aurangabad and Miraj hospitals, and these are particularly the administrators, the head of the department, who are going to be there in the facility for a long time.
Previously, if the patient is coming repeatedly and she is not having any organic disease, I usually ask her to change the doctor. But once we are sensitized with this project, then we could sense the history of violence and we could identify the signs and symptoms. So majority of the patient, if they visit and they do not have any organic problem, the possibility of violence is always there. If you are sitting outside and if you ask, "Bhai, tula naura marto ka?" she will not tell you anything. But if you say, "This conversation will be confidential," then definitely she will tell you certain things, and that may be important from her prognostic point of view.
We came to learn not to ask direct questions, not to give our opinion or our judgment on them, and let her speak. And once that flow starts, once that connection is established, that doctor-patient relationship emotionally is established, she will actually tell you the whole history.
We introduced a resource directory at both the sites, which contains a list of the organizations, protection officer, the legal help, the NGOs within the vicinity of the hospital for the additional support services which are beyond the scope of the hospital.
तर सेहतमुळं खरोखरच मी खूप सक्षम झाली असं मला वाटते, आणि सेहतमुळं आणि या मुक्ता प्रोजेक्टमुळं आमची एक बघण्याची नजर बदललेली आहे.
When a woman walks in or a girl walks in, considering the sexual violence allegation, if she is wearing a short dresses or she is wearing the very exposed dresses, the chances of assault is more common. So what is your opinion?
त्यांचं असं म्हणणं असतं सर की म्हणजे लोकांचा असं दृष्टिकोनच असं झालेला आहे की छोटे कपडे घातले म्हणजे ती त्यांच्या खरं तर लोकांच्या दृष्टिकोनात ती कमतरता आहे, त्यांच्या कपड्यामध्ये कमी नाही आहे. प्रत्येकजण आहे, लोकशाही आहे, प्रत्येकजण आपल्या मनाप्रमाणे कपडे घालू शकतो, वागू शकतो, बोलू शकतो.
Yes, that is very true, because this is a misconception that the what she wears, what time she is leaving the home, what time she is coming. In old time, when the woman walks for this examination sexual assault, there are 2 LPCs along with her, and they used to say that only I am a patient, and the staff sister or the junior doctor, they used to say that कि और एक बला आ गई, तो वो सब कुछ कर लेते हैं और बाद में हमारे पास आ जाते. We used to ask की कितीदा केलं, करताना काही वाटलं नाही का, because we used to think this is the way it should be done. So that woman was the last preference for examination. Sometimes 24 hours are lapsed. Secondly, a 2-finger test was routine, but from 2013 when Justice Verma Commission report came and we got training by Sehat, then we have stopped doing finger test. As I have undergone this training, we have seen that as soon as the woman comes, she should be examined. Today what we see that we have got a separate sexual survivor room where she is offered dignity and she is treated in the way she is to be treated.
What's happening here is they have learned to ask the right questions, pick up the clues, and the women have been encouraged to go and follow the legal procedure. So some women have gone on to get legal help, got redressal on those grounds, and now they've brought in women. Women have got other women. This is also happening to her, and they've actually now come in with their complaints because they're sure of support from our institute. They're also sure of getting help and their privacy being maintained. So it's like wonderful.
If you think about feasibility of continuing this training, it's really possible. Only thing it requires the people, they should be sensitized properly, they should be regularly monitored, and they should have some programs for changing their attitude, and we should document these things. So even if I am not there tomorrow, the other people will take over this. So when you will say that whose mind has shifted, I think I am the first example. And when I impart this training to my students, they are so happy. Even after getting passed from here, they are saying that how they have examined Survivor and what was the practices going on there. So it is a very great thing for me, and I will be privileged to continue this training.